We Are Crew, a school-wide expedition. Guiding question: how is the world, including you, acting as crew? Learning target: I can analyze multiple perspectives and clearly identify ways that our citizens are acting as crew, not passengers, during the current COVID-19 pandemic. It is important that we look to see the helpers in everything that we see changing around us. In fact, our country and the world is witnessing some of the things that our school finds most important: our habits of work, learning, and character. We challenge you to identify ways that our citizens are acting as crew, not passengers.
May the affection in our hearts never have to be controlled. Let applied separation become a bigger connection. May we all work together for whatever might face us. In this fight to survive, we must stay strong and alive. Janaya. COVID-19 has been stressful. COVID-19 has been fearful. COVID-19 has been controversial. COVID-19 has been tearful. COVID-19 has been annoying. COVID-19 has been rash. COVID-19 has not helped. COVID-19 shall not stay. Some wish they could go see their friends every day. COVID-19 makes us stay home while it tries to go away. My experience with COVID-19 has been hard. It feels as if I've been put in a jar. But at least we are safe. Cameron.
Term "we are crew" has taken a different meaning as a result of coronavirus. Now, instead of relating to us and me, it relates to the whole world.
The saying, "we are crew, not passengers," can be applied to the justice system because the justice system is taking precautions and doing what is necessary, like coming together to come up with the necessary rules for the public or listening to family court suggestions about letting juveniles out of detention centers so that they can be with their family. In New York, they are letting non-essential workers stay home so they don't get sick. That is also part of the world coming together as crew. The world is more considerate during this pandemic, and that is important so that people don't get sick and spread the virus even more than it already is. Aaliyah. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we as a society have had to adjust to many current changes to help flatten the curve. For example, self-quarantining, social distancing in public, wearing medical face masks are just a few tasks that citizens should be performing. Additionally, numerous kind-hearted individuals are donating medical supplies, food goods, or are making money donations to various hospitals and families in need. We have also made many appreciative signs and have been cheering on essential workers from day one. We cannot forget the teachers who have been working hard to deliver the schoolwork we need. Thank you to all the strong nurses, doctors, teachers, and many other frontline workers, as well as the countless people contributing. Eloisa. During this pandemic of COVID-19, some people have been working together to try and make this pandemic go away a bit faster than what the government said how long it was going to last. The way they are working together is by staying 6 feet apart unless they live together, or staying indoors unless they need to go outside, and by wearing masks to protect everybody, including themselves. Other people are not working together and are careless about following rules about the pandemic, and they are doing whatever they want without thinking about the consequences that come after it. If people followed the rules and didn't go outside or wear masks when they went out, so this pandemic would be over, or by now people who have symptoms of COVID are spreading it when they do not wear masks. It's either they're spreading it to the people that they live with or to the people in our community, and that is sad or upsetting when they do not follow the rules that our government has placed for us, because they are killing people without caring about it. I think that people should have a consequence for not wearing masks. People are putting up signs for COVID, and they hope people take it into consideration and do the right thing. Desiree. Everything is different in the world, and it is really hard to go through all of this, especially at the age of 12. This pandemic has been a struggle for kids like me, No being able to see a lot of my family is really hard. But I am trying my hardest to get through it. With the weather being so hot, I have been freaking out because I usually go to the park or play in the water with my cousins and siblings. Not being able to see my friends is extremely hard, especially the ones I haven't seen in months. Some good things about this pandemic are that I'm able to spend more quality time with my family, and I'm able to do new things. This pandemic feels hard to go through for me, but I am able to get through everything because I know that soon it will be over. Edith. I was in social studies when a classmate had said that someone in Onondaga County was tested positive for the virus, which means we must close for the 48 hours. Then I got home to hear on the news that we are out of school for 2 weeks and spring break. We got all of our work for the 2 weeks and headed home on the bus. Once the 2 weeks were over, my mom told me we are doing all computer work. All sports leagues have been canceled, and you think the world is as boring as it can be until a couple weeks later all gyms and parks are closed. Now we are at rock bottom. Then my dad becomes the Syracuse fire chief. My family was really excited. Then a week later, my mom comes to tell me that we are closed until next year. I was excited but a little angry because the computer work is hard. Liam. During this pandemic, people all around the world are acting as crew and not passengers. People are doing their part by staying home, washing their hands, and wearing face masks. Some people are even going above and beyond to risk their health so that they can help someone else. Essential workers such as doctors, nurses, grocery store workers, etc. are showing up to work every day just so that we can remain healthy and provided for. This pandemic has brought to light how much we all need to look out for each other and how one person's actions can have a big impact. Isella. During my quarantine experience, I always make sure I washed my hands and wore a mask when going to the store. The people at Aldi's, every time someone left, they would wipe down the conveyor belt before the next person would put their groceries there. Later in my quarantine, I went to Chittenango to see the waterfall flowing down all the way to the Old Stone Bridge. My dad said, you used to be able to go down there and go on the bridge to climb next to the waterfall, but they closed it off because of the virus. And that was a smart decision. Though everyone there wasn't wearing a mask, they made sure to stay away from people. What I've learned from this quarantine is to always wash your hands, even if there is no virus, and to make sure to stay safe during these rough times. Ronan.
Hi, my name's Bryson. I'm in 7th grade and I'm from Elms. This is a public service announcement on how to put a mask on and why you should wear one. First, I'm going to show you how to put the mask on. It pretty much just goes over your ears and around your nose and mouth, like so. And then you want to take it off your face without touching your face as much as possible. Why you should wear a mask during these times is to stop the transmission of corona. Thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Dulce and I will be telling you about my experience with this pandemic. It all started in March when they announced that schools will be closing. We all didn't know what to do until they told us that for now, we were going to have to do schoolwork online. It was fine staying home doing classwork, knowing that we'll get back to school. Until there was an announcement on the school's page that said schools will be closed for the rest of the year. I was in shock to hear that school is closed for the rest of the year. It was also crazy to know that a worldwide spreading virus caused everyone to have their school canceled for the rest of the year. I always see on the news how doctors are risking their lives to save others. At home, I got to spend lots of time with my family and being productive in the house. This was my crazy experience with COVID-19. Dulce. I don't get it. The world is tense as ever, a pandemic happens, and suddenly we're bonding? Not that I'm complaining, but it seems odd. Shouldn't a pandemic be an opportunity, excuse for how we used to be? But now we're closer as an entire world? Whatever, it's a little strange. But sure, I don't have a problem with it. I just hope it ends soon. Sure, the community is bonding, people are kinder than ever, but I just want to go back to school. Josephine.
Represents the helpers around us because people are doing both good and bad things, but more good than bad for the earth and to help each other. For math, I added people staying home to my shirt. An example of crew, because by staying home, people drive less and make less air pollution and smog. For Eli and social exercise, I added children taking groceries to the elderly to my example of crew because people are caring and helping others. Besides, I added clean water in elderly canals, and littering gloves and masks to my shirt, which is an example of crew because those are positive and negative impacts of COVID-19. I'm most proud of contributing to the positive impact of COVID-19 because I stay home and do not drive around as much to lessen air pollution, and my mom makes masks to donate.
On January 30th, 2020, COVID-19 was declared a public health emergency of international concern. COVID-19 brought lots of chaos to the world and people were scared. Lots of people panicked and bought any and everything to the point where some people were not able to get food or other things that were important, like toilet paper, cleaning supplies, hand sanitizer, and baby formula. Even though people were going crazy over the virus, a lot of good did happen around the world. Many people came together like we do as crew to help each other. Grocery stores began to let the elderly in first to do their shopping, and then let everyone in after. Adults and children also came together to make cards for the elderly at nursing homes. Neighbors of elderly also did groceries for the elderly and checked in on them to make sure they were okay. Many people also came together to help healthcare workers make masks for the healthcare workers because there weren't many. Restaurants even donated meals to healthcare workers. People all over the world also showed appreciation for our healthcare workers by going outside and singing, holding signs, donating directly. Even though COVID-19 is scary, many people all over the world came together as crew to help one another. This horrible pandemic showed us so much how precious life is and how short it is. It also showed that there's still good in this world. Gianna. I remember waking up and getting dressed for school. I'd get on the bus and talk with my friends until we got to the building. We would joke and laugh, tell stories, and just talk. Then this pandemic happened. At first, we made jokes about it. We shared memes. Because it hadn't really affected us yet. Some of us even gave it nicknames. No one called it by its real name, COVID-19. Sometimes we just said coronavirus. It was all jokes to us. We'd say, cough, cough, you've got the corona, and laugh. Everything was fine. But things changed really quickly. It was a normal school day. I walked into the social studies classroom wanting school to be over. It was almost lunchtime, so I only had a few more classes left in the day. I had gotten news that school was going to be canceled later that week, so I was kind of excited for school to be over. I could finally take a break. I expected it to last a few weeks and then school would start up. Kind of like spring break, right? I could have never been more wrong. The day flew by, but things weren't quite right. The teachers were rushing around, trying to get paperwork printed. During afternoon crew, we went and got Ziploc bags with paperwork and packets to do. We were told to do all of the work here and check out Canvas for more work. The teachers didn't know when we'd come back to our school, but I didn't care. I would have so much free time now to do what I wanted. But our situation only got worse. The day we were supposed to go back to school kept getting pushed back farther and farther. April 19th, April 29th, May 16th. Masks had become required. COVID-19 cases skyrocketed. I had a nagging worry at the back of my mind. What if we don't go back? What if school is let out forever? What if this is permanent? These past few weeks have been reminding me of my past, of adventures and experiences I've had. I wish I could live them out. Will I ever be able to live them again? Will I ever be able to create more stories and more memories? We have to hold out hope that things will get better. They have to. If we work together and protect each other, care for each other, then the world will come out better than it started. If we have compassion for everyone, then we can beat this. We can prevail. We need to lift each other up during these trying times and not push them down. Think about this. What can you do to help combat this outbreak? Raylan. We Are Crew means to me during this time in the pandemic is to help each other out no matter what the risk is, and to help those who are more vulnerable during the pandemic. The world is acting like a crew because during this time of need, people are working together to help each other out and to make sure everyone is safe. For example, I'm very nervous about contracting the virus. I have 2 grandchildren at home, age 4 and 9. I could harm my family if I bring something home. Also, in the article it says, my daughter at one point said, "Mom, you're older. Older people are dying. You can stay home." But I was like, nah. Jesus was a server. That's my purpose. That's why I've been in this business 26 years. Most people look at us as a cafeteria lady. I look at it as service. If there wasn't an epidemic, we would still be serving kids who probably would not get another meal until the next day. It's an honor for us to serve those kids. Yolanda Fisher, 48, is a cafeteria worker. This shows that people are working as a crew because they are taking big risks in order to help those in need. Lastly, in the article it says, I feel proud to be able to do my part, especially for the ones that may be going to the hospital because they're worried that they have it. I want to do everything I can to make sure that people are taken care of and protected. My employer moved a standing line back so that we're kind of in an isolated area, and people are now coming in and out the back door, so there's no more up-close personal contact with people coming in near the fare box. Andre Anglin, 51, bus driver. This shows that he cares for other people and wants to make sure everyone is okay, no matter what the risk is. In conclusion, these are my reasons why I think the world is acting like a crew during the pandemic and how people are being courageous to help those in need. Nayland. Hi guys, so this is a report on the inside dish on nurses and doctors in hospitals, and how they and us outside of hospitals are acting as crew. Everyday life of a healthcare worker is at work around 6:45, 2 to 3 meetings a day, and about 11 staff members on the day shift, and then another 11 on the evening shift, plus the doctors. Now, how they work as crew. From the words of Katie Cook, yes, we work together very well as a team. Even if they have float staff, which are the workers that come in to help out. Again, from the words of Katie Cook, for the most part, they are all good. This shows that in the hospital, all the co-workers work together even if they have differences. They put them aside to work to save lives. Also, from the words of Katie Cook on how all of us outside of hospitals work together as crew, while the rest of the world is helping the patients too by staying home and wearing their masks. Again, this shows how through all of our hardships on getting through this year, healthcare workers and the rest of the world are banding together and acting as crew. Shannon. Log data 2. It's day 2 of quarantine and the food supplies are still shortened. It's starting to calm down now. Well, as calm as it can be, but now things are starting to lighten up. Like I said, there is always a light in the darkness, and that light will lead to freedom. I believe that we are all working together to make do with the pandemic of COVID-19 and are trying to work as crew and not passengers. We as a species have lived through the Black Plague, smallpox, and many other deadly diseases. Now in a time of crisis and problems, 2020 will probably be known as the worst year ever worldwide. Even new movies have been canceled, and a lot moved to other release dates in 2021. Will more bad things come? Yeah, they will. Like World War III, which hopefully will never happen. But it could be possible. Hopefully that day will never come, but what I'm saying is that there will be worse things that will happen. But for now, let's focus on 2020 and the pandemic and working together to get rid of COVID-19. To stop the riots, to stop the murder, stop the fighting, stop the political fighting, and pay attention to the pandemic. I know it's scary. I know that other bad things are happening, but focus on the worst problem right now. Let's be crew and not passengers. Nylasia. During this pandemic, I have been in the house or just in my yard and not really noticing what was going on in the outside world so much. My mom told me that we are getting out and going on a hike. I didn't want to stay in the house, so I said okay. When we got there, it felt weird to be outside and having to wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart from other people. It was a great hike. Not too many people were outside. As my cousins, my sister, and I were walking, my mom and aunt would tell us, put your masks on. Some of the time, we noticed too late. Then we realized that we can't be 100% safe all the time. Sometimes we would forget to put our masks on when people would walk by, or we saw them too late. We really wanted snacks, and we would have to sanitize our hands before we ate them. This was all really strange for me. I haven't been out in forever, and now I am outside, face covered and uncomfortable. This was a weird new way of living. Even one of my cousins ate her crackers after she had touched a fence and forgot to sanitize her hands before. It really showed us that even though we were trying to be as safe as possible, there were just some things that we forgot. I'm sure this is the same for most people that are going back outside for the first time in a couple of months. It feels like we take a risk every time we go outside. It makes me wonder, when will things be back to normal, considering how we, as a crew, can't be 100% safe and sanitized at all times. Steven.
My name is Amaya, and I am going to talk today about how my schoolwork has changed for me as a result of COVID-19 distance learning. It is hard to get work done. I have trouble answering questions because I can't get help right away. Teachers do explain work through Zoom sessions, and this helped me some. However, it is not the same as being there. I hope I get better at distance learning. I know my teachers will support me.
They all said that there wasn't school the next day, and my heart sank. We told Marisha and Briella bye, expecting to see them after we got dismissed, and walked into the room. Our chairs were set up in a circle as usual, and we packed up our stuff and sat there talking. It finally hit me that we weren't going back, and I tried my hardest not to burst into tears. All 11 of us and Miss Coles walked to the teacher's lounge to get work that we had to complete during the quarantine and headed back to our crew room. I got called down to the office because my mom picked me up early, and I never got to say goodbye to so many of the 8th graders. I walked to the front with my belongings, then out the door and into the car. And that's when quarantine began. Caitlin. Courts have also made some changes to their regulations. Courts are restricting or ending jury trials. They are restricting entrances into courthouses. They are generally suspending in-person proceedings. They are granting extensions for court deadlines, including deadlines to pay for fines and fees. So if you had a court end date coming up, but it's been all mixed up, they have extended those dates. So you still have your equal court time. Fines and fees have been extended for payments so that people have more time to pay them, because many Americans are not working and cannot afford to pay those in this time. Last but not least, and maybe the most important change, is they are encouraging or requiring teleconferences and video conferences in lieu of hearings. Hearings have been moved online so that they can still continue. The judicial system and jails are doing their best, keeping inmates and staff safe and healthy during this time. Kira.
So I think the world is acting as crew now, since we're in quarantine because of this big pandemic. I think everyone's acting as crew because we all have to wear masks and we have to social distance, and it's just it's a lot harder because living our normal lives, we all communicated with each other, physically interacted, and now we can't do that. So it's just hard to get used to, and everybody is just taking a part of that and working as a team instead of just people who didn't work. It's kind of like a huge project, and we all have to take a part in getting it done.
Living in this world now, we never know what to expect. We live and we learn. There are always better days coming, though. During this pandemic, I've learned a lot, such as being grateful for what I have. Always appreciate the people I have in my life, because we never know when it'll be our last time or day with them. People all over the world are losing their lives left to right. It's sad, but it's true. Us young people, we are the future. We have to better the future. Stop killing each other. Stop putting each other down. We all have a right to live. And we all will and can make a difference in someone else's life. This pandemic has had a strong impact on the lives of everyone all over the world. People have lost many family members due to COVID. Some people are still working as crew to stay safe and to continue to wear their face masks and gloves. Meanwhile, others aren't following the guidelines by going out without their masks and gloves, which put everyone's life in danger. This pandemic isn't the only thing that has had an impact on the lives of others. The recent death of Mr. George Floyd has changed everyone's life. Us blacks are tired of getting killed. We are tired of having to fight for peace. The whites get to walk free, so why can't we? We won't stop fighting for our justice until police brutality stops. We have a right to walk free just like the whites. Our brothers, our fathers, even our mothers and sisters sometimes. Don't you all think it's scary not knowing if your dad or brother will walk back into the house? It's hard for black moms to raise black young sons knowing what can happen to them nowadays. We just want our peace and to walk free. Don't get me wrong, all lives matter. But right now, black lives matter the most. I love my white family members, teachers, and friends, and I know that we can come together for change. But we are tired of it, and we won't stop until we can breathe. Samaya. COVID-19, known as the coronavirus, is a deadly illness that affects the elderly group the most. The coronavirus can spread to and from eyes, mouths, and hands. To prevent your loved one or yourself from coming in contact with the virus, make sure you wear a mask over your mouth and nose and wear gloves. Also, wipe everything new that you buy from any store. I myself help my family wipe down the groceries with hand sanitizer. When you finish any outside activities, always wash your hands when you go back into your home. And then re-wipe down anything that you may have touched before you washed your hands, like the doorknob maybe, the sink handle, or even maybe the light switch.
On the back side of my shirt, I have our title, "We Are Still Crew, Not Passengers, a COVID Time Capsule." And then I have a quote from an article I read for ELA that says, "Country after country, people have responded by taking to their balconies, windows, and rooftops to sing to one another, applaud, and show gratitude to their healthcare workers, to play music, and to lift one another's spirits."
When this ends, may we never take anything for granted. We never take spending time with our loved ones for granted. As we take our first breath in the morning, some take their last. When this is over, may we never take anything for granted. A hug from your loved one, a pantry brimming with food. When this comes to an end, may we honor the grief of others. May we thank life itself. Pooja.
Over the past several weeks, our students have worked in all of their classes to identify and highlight how our community has been acting as crew, not passengers. The work you have seen is just a sample of the amazing work our students have done. To see more, visit the ELMS website at syracuseCitySchools.com/ELMS. Thank you to all of the students and staff for all of their hard work during these unprecedented times. 3 ELMS claps to everyone. We are crew.